One, two, three.
There you
And
go.
we start always like this. There's nobody at the beginning,
Oh shit!
of
Hold
course.
on. I just realized. Thankfully, there is nobody in the beginning. I don't have my lights on, bro.
Exactly. Just turn
This
them
smells
on. Turn
like
them
it.
on. It's family here. It's family. What we
Shit.
see here is my friend Ale,
I'm,
my
I'm getting
young
some.
Jamie. He's connecting his lights. It's it's
There you go.
he just wants to show everybody his back musculature.
This is something.
He's been working on it.
God damn. Just like Johnny Bonnie, just like Boney was missing a challenge. I was missing my lights. Get it?
Yep.
That's what it is, bro.
Yeah, so today in the podcast, we are going to be talking about John Jones, Cyril Gane, Bon Gamin. You
Oh
know the
shit.
story about them. That you know the story about that name, Bon Gamin.
I want to believe I do. I mean, I don't know the story. I know it's like good boy.
Oh, Dieguito, Dieguito. We're
Dieguito,
gonna be, vamos a estar en el español en una hora, Diego. In
Diego,
one hour. In 1 hour.
estamos en este nuevo formato, estamos mitad, tiramos en gringo 1 hora y luego en español por decisión popular. They want us in English, the ones in Spanish. We
Yeah.
gotta just cater toward the audience, bro. Pero gracias, Dieguito, te queremos. Gracias por estar ahí. Nos vemos en 1 hora. Yes, sir.
Rachmanov. Yeah, but let's talk about the steak. With the
shit.
steak. We have the steak
Wait. Hold on.
of the
Yeah.
evening. We gotta talk about it. What do you want to
That's-
talk about?
No, you're right. I was just gonna say, like, is there an actual backstory beyond the fact that it means like good boy?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
Cyril
that
Gane
might be,
strikes
but-
me as a guy that he's not like a very fun guy. Very French of him, you know.
He's very French. He's very French in that sense. Yeah, he maybe lacks a little bit of sustenance, no, a little bit of sazoncito, maybe. But yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy though. I mean, if you okay, let me ask you this: if you had to choose,
Uh-huh.
who of the two would you
Mhm.
like to choose to, not to go party like a rock star, because that's obviously clear who you would choose, but
John
to
Jones.
hang out, to have a good time, to have a confidant, to have a good friend. Which one would you choose, Jones or Gan?
Oh man, Cyril Gane is the type of he looks like the type of guy that that he will go to your house, then he'll get to know your significant other and invite her for tea when you're not there. So he looks like he's very treasonous. So I don't know about that. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, so I don't like it. I rather know a guy's like a badass guy from the get go, and then I can be like, yeah, I don't trust him, but you're cool. Let's hang out.
That's what it is. Oh wait, actually, let me just say, because I just want to make sure Diego didn't get upset. Diego, you didn't get upset, no?
No, Diego.
We weren't kicking you out. No te estábamos sacando, Diego, cabrón. Te lo decíamos.
Diego está vacilando. Diego está vacilando.
Vale. Anyway,
So,
sorry guys that mix Spanglish here a little bit. It's what it is.
nuestro
What it is.
está Danny M y Diego.
Boom.
Y Diego.
Who else do we need?
So Cyril Gane looks like a very very quiet, down to earth guy. But let's talk about it. Let's bring it to the meat and potatoes. Of course, everybody has been waiting for the comeback of this young man right here. Not so young anymore. Not so young anymore, but a bit of more of a man right now, because he's grown into his frame, he's grown into his body, and he's fighting in the weight class that he wanted to fight from the beginning. I mean, ever since he was a champion at 205 pounds, John Jones has been talking about wanting to conquer the 205, the 205-pound division, the light heavyweight division, and to jump up to the heavyweight division. So this is kind of fulfilling his own prophecy, and I think that he's at a point where he's not bored anymore. And because he's talked about that, he's talked about being bored when he fight at 205 because it was so
That's
easy
right.
and so dominant for him. So this scares him again. He's verbally saying that this scares him, and he is excited about it. And when John Jones is scared and excited about a weight division, I'm excited about his show. But he's going against a guy that, I'll leave it to you. What are your thoughts on Cyril Gane, the guy that's meant to welcome John Jones to his heavyweight debut. What do you think about this guy?
Well, I mean, what do I think? Well, I think, and I know what we all think and know, that Cyril Gane is an extremely talented individual. Jared, Cyril Gane has showed us that he is a threat to anyone that dares to enter the octagon with him. Cyril Gane has a striking that it's definitely, I'm not gonna say out of this world, but it's definitely out of the division. I don't think John Jones has ever faced someone with the strength, the ability, the speed, and the volume that Cyril Gane has ever in his career. So I think he brings a lot of arguments on the table to potentially dethrone. Well, not dethrone, because obviously he's the one who could be dethroned, but to certainly put things into perspective, because the truth of the matter here is that we don't know where John Jones is at. Like, we all expect John Jones to kind of like wipe the canvas with Cyril Gane, right? If we go by the traditional, like, I've been listening to all the media, to people on the internet, and they're all saying the same thing, right? If John Jones was able to do whatever he wanted in 205, and now he's been added for well over a year, pounds to his frame nicely, while keeping his training on point, which will allow him to lose barely any speed but keep all his abilities. He's just gonna ragdoll Cyril Gane. But the truth is that John Jones has never fought someone, that is 250 pounds and that it's as tall as he is, and who doesn't have that, that bunch of inches reach difference, right? Because the reach difference is still there, but it's not anymore. It's not Chael Sonnen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looked like his younger kid. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I usually try not to, go down the route of the hype. Objectively, though, it looks like John Jones should win this fight if he is true to his word. And all that he has been saying on the interviews is that he's been training super hard, that he's been doing the transition in a 2-year span. He put a new gym in his house right before the COVID era. I was hearing him tell the audience in the countdown. So he's supposed to have been doing things right for well over 2 years. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna find out on Saturday. I don't think Cyril Gane is gonna do it. He's gonna, put it easy for him. Let's not forget that Cyril Gane faced an absolute nuclear threat as Francis Ngannou, and he not only survived because he lost to decision, but he fared, in my humble opinion, very well against an opponent like Francis Ngannou, which of course is not remotely as talented, as technical, as resourceful as John Jones, but he definitely was a huge threat and could have turned off the lights of Cyril Gane at any moment. And Cyril Gane managed distance. Cyril Gane touched a bunch of times Ngannou, and he won rounds against Ngannou as well. Once again, John Jones and Ngannou, they are not apples to apples by any stretch of the imagination, but I think we're gonna see a pretty disputed fight. Get it? And I don't think it's, like many people say, it's gonna be a walk in the park for John Jones, to be honest. But objectively, it's gonna be a difficult night for Cyril Gane. Yeah.
I mean, there's no secret here. John Jones is looking to take Cyril Gane to the floor on striking. When we see the statistics on striking, they're very even. So strikes landed for Cyril Gane is 5.11 to 4.30 for John Jones. The accuracy is in the 50%. Defense is 60%. Strikes absorbed are equal, 2.2 and 2.2. So it's a similar volume. It's a volume that's equal, and the difference here is the wrestling. So the wrestling is superior in John Jones. And this is the first time that Cyril Gane faces a legit grappler. I mean, he's fought with only strikers. His last 5 fights have been with strikers: Jairzinho, Rosenstrike, Volkov. Volkov is a striker, but he's so big and hulking that you can't say he's a dynamic striker or a wrestler.
Mhm.
Derek Lewis is not a wrestler. Francis Ngannou fought like a wrestler and won, even though he's not an experienced wrestler. And
That's
Taito
right.
Ivasa, we all know, is not a
Banger.
wrestler. And Taito Ivasa had his moments with Cyril Gann, had him on skates, touched him up real good, and made him be in danger.
That's
So
right.
what we have here is a heavyweight, that true heavyweight, 250 pounds plus in Cyril Gann. He hasn't been put to the test by a wrestler, by a strong wrestling base, and he's shown trouble with receiving big strikes, like we saw with Taito Ivasa and like we saw with Francis Ngannou. So
Mm.
John Jones, even if it's outmatched by a couple pounds, which is going to be maybe 20 to 30 pounds when it's fight day, because John Jones will be 225 to 230, and Cyril Gann will be around closer to 260 maybe. So I think even though physically it looks like it's a negative for John Jones, when you topple somebody that's heavier than you in wrestling, it's easier to ride them. It's easier to get them tired. It's easier to move and maneuver above them. So I think that this is tailor made for John Jones. The matchmakers in the UFC are not sneaky, very smart. They know exactly what they're putting out there as a product for a fight. So they
Mhm.
know that Cyril Gann doesn't have the most technical get-ups in wrestling, and John Jones can ride him really well and keep him down and punish him with ground and pound. Because let me tell you something,
Mm.
there is ground and pound and control when John Jones is on top
Mhm.
of you. He's not looking to pass to do an arm triangle. He wants
Mm.
to stay in your half guard, and he's going to punish you with elbows and merciless strikes. John Jones has that it factor on the ground. He doesn't want to compete. He doesn't want to win. He wants to hurt you. So when that happens in UFC 285, we're going to get a finish of Cyril Bongamin Gane on UFC 285. I mean, John Jones is going to do some serious work on top. And you can cut this clip and quote it.
Oh,
What's your
wow.
prediction? What's your prediction here, my friend?
It's okay. So as I as often as happens with me, Yaret,
Mhm.
I got two. I, I got my devil and my angel here on both sides on my shoulders because, as I was saying, and agreeing with you, we all know, we all assume John Jones is a superior fighter, and John Jones is gonna win this match. But that's what my brain, what my head tells me. However, I love a good upset. I love a good story of the underdog coming on top.
Mhm.
And the truth is that we have seen, especially last year, yeah, how many upsets did we witness that we would have never thought? We
Bah.
saw Israel Adesanya lose. We saw Kamaru Usman being not only defeated but also flatlined. We saw Amanda Nunes, who we thought it was impossible for anyone to not even win a fight, but win a round against her,
Mhm.
being outmatched by Juliana Pena. So why not? Why not thinking that we're gonna witness some history, something truly epic, and want to see Cyril Gann rock the whole GOAT debate by inflicting the first loss to John Jones? Why not? Well, I that's why I know we always like to say we're gonna give a prediction, but what? Okay, whatever. Our few members of the audience may hold me accountable later. But honestly, I think John Jones could have weak points. I think John Jones could get tired if the fight starts, getting into the later rounds. We just saw
Mhm.
Cyril Gann fighting a heavier, stronger, more dangerous fighter against Francis Ngannou and finish the fight and disputing the fight to him. And I really think that he can win this fight if he has a strong game plan, if he is smart, fighting from the outside, picking his shots, using that front kick that he has to keep John Jones at bay. Of course, he could get a hold of his leg and try a takedown and mess him up on the floor. but I really think he has arguments to win the fight, to hurt John Jones, to really take him to the 5 rounds and potentially to outscore him and win a decision. I think he's got what it takes to
Mhm.
do that. I think John Jones is gonna come in heavy. John Jones has never fought 5 rounds with a heavyweight. John Jones has never fought having like what 40 35 pounds on his frame in a UFC World Championship bout. So Jones has a lot of murky areas in which Cyril Gane could actually capitalize. So I'm gonna just because I like to go on the contrary with you. So I think Cyril Gane is gonna shake the wall. Cyril Gane is gonna put John Jones on his heels. Is gonna be fighting, cerebral, careful, and he's gonna be able. He's gonna like follow a plan. Clearly, think that he can win a
Yeah.
unanimous decision against John Jones by outpointing him, and he is going on Saturday to win a decision against John Jones, and is going to continue to be the UFC heavyweight world champion. So to me, Cyril Gane is going to take the punishment and is going to come on top. Boom. And if I
There you go. Without fear.
without fear. And if I messed it up, oh well,
No fear.
you'll clip this one for when we're famous, and they'll say, boom.
Yes. And we talk about the main fight. Of course, my prediction, I always said that John Jones is going to do damage from top.
Do you think he finishes
of course,
it? Yeah, you think he finishes
I
it?
think he does. I think he finishes it.
Damn. Nobody ever did, by the way.
This
Let's
is
say
the clip.
Cyril
He
Gane
finishes this fight.
Okay. Mhm.
He finishes this fight drinking yerba mate. He's drinking his
Oh. My
South
herbs.
his
Herbs.
Latino tea,
Concoction?
right?
Yes, sir.
Concoction,
Mhm.
that's where we get our Riz from that potion. Young people know what Riz is. If you don't know it, Google
I
it.
actually don't know what Riz is. Yeah, I'm gonna Google it right now.
You're getting
How do you
old, my
spell-
brother.
How do you spell that?
Riz, Rizz, Riz. That's where we get our Riz from.
Holy shit! I'm here all over Urban Dictionary. Okay. Whoa. All right. Sure. Okay. Ooh.
There
Ability
you
to
go, bro.
seduce a potential love interest. Oh shit! Got it.
That-
Okay. Okay,
I
all
stay on top of things.
Alright.
I stay on top of things, bro.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
All right.
youthful, young. You see,
Mhm.
got Carl Young there, the Joker
Boom,
there,
the
a
Joker there,
duality. Okay, we're getting off track, but
Quite a bit. I
my
want you-
prediction,
Yeah.
my prediction, John
it.
Jones finishes it at the beginning, the first 2 minutes of the third round. He gets on top. He rains down elbows. Cyril Gane crawls
Ooh.
over, covers up, and the ref steps in. It's gonna be
well,
exactly like that because I called it.
Damn. With round, with minute, and with method. Okay. The doc coming in hatch.
We're
All
coming
right.
in hot and talking about hot. What a transition! Boom!
Yeah.
We're ready,
What?
baby. Look at this. look at
God
this.
damn. Look
I'm
at
gonna
her.
kiss her elbow.
Kiss her elbow, kiss whatever you want, because Valentina Shevchenko is one of my absolute favorite fighters. She, I just like her so much. She's a weirdo, but I just like her so much. And I'm not talking because she
Yeah.
happens to be a female. I happen to be a heterosexual male.
Yeah.
I like her because to me, she's the true embodiment of what a freaking martial artist in my imagination would be, to be honest. But take it away, Jared, though.
Yeah. Valentina Shevchenko fights. She's the. No, what? It's not the main event. It's the co-main event. Valentina Shevchenko. I believe this is Valentina's last fight that it's completely predictable. Of course,
Okay.
having Blanchfield come up in the ranks, that's a very, very dangerous
Ooh.
fight for Valentina.
For sure.
But this is
Sure.
the one of the last very, very easy, predictable fights. Alexa Grasso, a great fighter, Mexican descendancy, Orthodox, same reach as Valentina, same height as Valentina.
Yep.
She has a great volume of strikes. The accuracy not as good. She
Mhm.
finally has her chance to fight the champion. Of course, we know she beat Araujo, Joanne Calderwood, Macy Barber, Kim, and her last loss was to Carla Esparza. So she has a nice 4-win streak that brought her to Valentina. Of course, Valentina has
Yep.
beat Santos up. Some people thought she lost, but
Right.
she got that W. She beat Murphy, Andrade, Jennifer Maya, Caitlin Chukagian. So she's taken out the broom and the vacuum cleaner, and she's fought all the girls in the flyweight division for the girls, which is not that thick. That division is not that thick.
Nope.
It's just it's watered down. Let's say the truth for what it is. And although Alexa Grasso is a great fighter, Valentina physically is very imposing. So I think that will play a huge factor here. Valentina is very physically imposing to her opponents and attacks them at their weaknesses. So I think that this is one of the easiest to predict. One of her last fights to be easily predictable. So I think she gets a W here. Very easy. The grappling for Valentina has been solid in this weight division. Her takedown accuracy above 50%. Look for a male that has a takedown accuracy above 50%. You won't find a lot. Her takedown defense is 70%. The same. This one of the highest percentages in any category, male or female. So I think, this is easily predictable. What are your thoughts on Alexa Grasso as an opponent for Valentina Shevchenko, and what this means for Mexican fighters and Latino fighters? Of course, we're Latinos.
That's right.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts is that I honestly, hand to my heart, I really wish Alexa Grasso pulled up the upset against Valentina, because because Alexa, Danny M there, Danny M is a true fan. Yeah, let me tell you, she knows her shit. Anyway, so I was saying, hand to my heart, I really wish Alexa Grasso pulled the upset. I think she's got some weapons going on. She really has a very refined, skillful boxing ability. She showed us that she can submit people. She submitted Joanne Wood with a rear naked choke very nicely. She submitted. I saw another submission of hers somewhere. I don't remember. It may have been before the UFC. She's got an okay submission level, but her real strong point is her boxing. True to the Mexican school of fighters. She I was seeing in the countdown that she trains with her uncle over there in Guadalajara. I think she's from Guadalajara, Mexico.
I lived in Guadalajara. Shout out to Guadalajara.
Guadalajara to all Jalisco State. So she is primarily a boxer. She is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She can submit. She can find her way on the ground as well. So, but the truth of the matter is that when we compare them both in not in the numbers, which is the numbers, they are surprisingly well matched up. They are pretty up there, both of them. But when we think about pure skill and pure ability or resources to bring the fight to their own turf, I think Valentina in this case is a superior fighter. She is strong fighter in the division. She can fight from the outside. She can fight in the inside and exchange. She can take you to the ground. She can do almost anything as long as you are not being heavier than her, is what I'm trying to say. Alexa isn't. They are almost identical when you look at the physical stats. Jared, exact same height, 5'5". Exact same weight, of course. Well, I mean, half a pound difference for Alexa. Exact same reach, half an inch difference, and almost exact same reach. So I truly believe also Valentina has a lot more experience than Alexa fighting in the biggest stage. So maybe I wanna say that Alexa could catch her in the early rounds with a good combination, with that solid boxing I was just referring to, and maybe she could rock her and potentially get her in trouble. But if everything goes as one could expect, I think Valentina's got more arguments to win this fight, to really take Alexa Grasso into the later rounds, into the murky waters of the championship rounds, and if not finalizing her, definitely winning the unanimous decision. So I'm gonna go with you on this one. I'm gonna be on your side, and I think Valentina Shevchenko is gonna win again. She's gonna defend once again her belt, and she's gonna come on top on this fight. It's gonna be a very exciting fight, and I also hope she wins so she can do the Russian fighter, the Russian dance thing that she
Ah,
does.
look at you, the moves, the riz,
The moves is
the
very, very,
riz,
very,
the
very street.
musical riz.
It's very Street Fighter esque, if I may say. Do you remember in the Street
Yeah,
Fighter
yeah, it could be in
when
a
they
video
won?
game.
You know, so I like that. Also, Jared, side note, we were talking off camera that you haven't had the chance to watch the countdown yet.
No, I haven't.
Please go watch it. It's excellent. The UFC at this point, Jared,
They know how to
like,
do it.
they know how to do it, but they're at this point doing 2023 action flicks, for a countdown. Everything in the freaking countdown, it's an action movie, bro. From the very beginning, the opening shot with the brands, like the sound design of the countdown, it's Liam Neeson esque, is Antoine Fuqua esque movie level. Get it?
I
It's
love
just
that.
fucking
I love that.
incredible, And then they are getting into storytelling. They were doing with John Jones. They were doing this Rocky montage in which he was just kind of like bench pressing 2,000 pounds, and they were given like a suspense music, and then to put a heroic tune, then with a celebratory when he pulled it up. The lighting in the gym was like he was in a Dagestani prison lifting with very low lights. It was so weirdly
Cinematic,
action
very
movie-esque.
cinematic.
Cinematic to the next level, bro. So it's really enjoyable. It's a movie. It's a movie. Like, kudos. I got nothing but praise to the UFC production team, because they do.
They
They're
know how to
masters
do
of
it.
storytelling. They know how to do. They're masters out
Oh
of
yeah,
audio.
that's important.
visual
That's what gets you
storytelling.
to buy a pay-per-view. That's what gets you to a fight.
Mhm. Yes,
But
indeed.
there's something interesting about this matchup with Valentina
Tell me.
and Alexa Grasso, of course. When you see Alexa Grasso, the fighters that she has problems with are wrestlers. Carla Esparza,
Carlos Barza.
Tatiana Suarez,
Tatiana Suarez,
Felix
that's right.
Herrig. These are very physically imposing fighters. Now you
Mm.
take those same fighters, Felix Herrig, Tatiana Suarez, and Carla Esparza, and they are not a quarter of the wrestling pressure that Valentina Shevchenko is going to put on her. So this fight is going to look very one-sided. This is my deep opinion. Physically, Valentina has that belt factor. I always say that having the belt elevates your game. Valentina Shevchenko was always a great fighter when she was in a weight class above. She had some setbacks. Now in the flyweight division, she has the belt factor. The belt factor elevated her capacity, elevated her professionalism, and her physical training, and the physicality that this young woman brings. This woman, because she's not that young anymore, this woman brings into the cage is
Young looking.
phenomenal. So, her opponent, Alexa Grasso, is gonna feel the pressure of a legit champion at the top of her game. And now this is one of the last fights, like I said, that's easily predictable, because Erin Blanchfield is coming up the ranks. And when we talk about that fight later on, it's gonna be a different story. We're talking someone that has sweeps. And this is getting ahead of myself. I don't want to,
Yeah. You're entering there the next big matchup in the division.
I don't want to take Alexa Grasso for granted.
Exactly. Given Alexa doesn't, because as I said, I wish she pulls the upset and she rocks Valentina Shevchenko and wins. But yeah,
I don't know.
No. I mean, it's let's face it. It would be a big upset. It would be an unforeseen. Let me put it that way. An unforeseen result for that fight. Also, it is. But anyway, you wanted to get at the potential future bout between Shevchenko and Erin Blanchfield, the Jersey native, and you were saying.
Oh yeah, no. What I'm saying is that whenever that fight occurs, that's gonna be a harder to predict fight. The tools that Blanchfield brings into the table meet the strengths of Valentina Shevchenko. So it's two things that meet: jiu-jitsu takedowns versus raw wrestling takedowns. And it's Erin Blanchfield is just a little bit more refined physically. The edge goes to Valentina as an athlete, because Valentina,
100%.
her frame, her physicality, her muscles are great, but Valentina Shevchenko
She's taller
was
too.
in trouble in her last fight against Tayla Santos. Tayla Santos had her back at a point.
Yep.
So if
And return fire.
Blanchfield has Valentina's back, it's that's it for her. That's
Yeah.
it for her. She can sink that choke in and cause one of the biggest
Oof.
upsets. And that's gonna be I'm gonna be putting at least $100 on Blanchfield.
Muchachos.
You know,
Whoa.
at
Okay.
least on
Okay.
Blanchfield, because I think that it's, Valentina's reign is not coming to an end, but I think that it could be on its last legs. So it's important. It's fun to see it. So this fight is going to be a showcase for Valentina. This fight is going to be, hey, look at how great of a champion I am, and it sets up potential matches down the line with Blanchfield or any other top fighters in the flyweight division.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's actually kind of like the hope of the division, really, because if you look at the division that you were saying looks light, to be specific, more than light, which it does look like, it's just there is not fresh meat to be blunt about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you look at it, like I was going through it real quick here. Valentina, you got Manon Fiorot is the only. It's another one that I think has earned a chance to fight for the title right even before Blanchfield, because at the end of the day, Blanchfield was an up and comer until the other day she defeated less than, I would say, like less than prime Andrade version, Jessica Andrade's version, because Jessica Andrade didn't
Yeah.
look like
Yeah,
herself as much.
it was a short
Short
turnaround
notice.
for her. She didn't
Yeah,
short
yeah,
notice. She didn't have any training time. So
yeah.
she beat
She was
her.
subbing.
She got tagged. So there's a lot of questions still. I mean,
Mhm.
Blanchfield is not the second coming of Christ. She does have some
That's
holes
right.
in her game.
Mhm.
And
But again,
Valentina is a person to uncover that.
yeah, but if you take out of the picture Manon Fiorot and you take out of the picture momentarily Erin Blanchfield, we don't have a lot. And what we got, Valentina already defeated. We're talking about Tayla Santos, Jessica Andrade, Kaylin Chukagian, Alexa Grasso, whom she's really
Hmm.
fighting the ranked 6 fighter in the division. Then Lauren Murphy, which has been lit on fire by half of this division. Viviana Araujo, also Jennifer Maya.
Those are
Andrea Lee,
facts.
Casey O'Neill. Then there is, there is a drop in quality, I guess I would say. Please, all respect to our fighters. We love them, we admire him, and we thank them for putting their life and their all on their line. But the truth is that out of Manon Fiorot and Erin Blanchfield, there is not a lot going on in that division for Valentina to keep on winning. And I was checking the date. She became the flyweight champion in 2018, so she's going on 5 years of being the undisputed flyweight champion. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. For let me put it this way: for the sake of the division, for the sake of the fans,
Hmm.
at the audience, to get reignited the excitement for the division, I hope something special happens on Saturday. If not, all we got left in the women's flyweight is Manon Fiorot and Erin Blanchfield, which, who know? I mean, I'm assuming Manon Fiorot is gonna be next up for Valentina if she wins. If
Hmm.
not, a lot of possibilities open. If Valentina loses, Alexa Grasso is the new champion. Who is she fighting next? Who is Valentina fighting next? Tyler Santos is there, which got by the way, his
Hmm.
face broken by Valentina, even though it was a close fight. Remember how that orbital bone, I believe it was,
Yeah,
looked at the
yeah.
end of that fight. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Most likely, Valentina will take it, but Alexa uh, could pull the upset. All in all, my prediction is the same as the dog. I think Valentina is gonna do enough to win on Saturday and to continue being the champion.
All right. So we have the next fight, and I think the podcast will be until this fight. Jeff
Oh,
Neal,
okay.
Hands of Stone. Jeff Neal, is
Oof.
it, or Hands of what's the nickname?
Jeff Neal.
Oh, Hands of Steel. Neal, Hands of Steel.
Yeah.
Jeff Neal against Shavkat Rakhmonov, the
Oof.
Nomad.
Oof.
People are very excited about this guy right here.
Rightfully
Shavkat,
so.
this coming from the same nest of fighters, the same nest of fighters in how do you call that area? That
Or in the, I would say, you'd say like East. I want to say East Europe, but it's really Asia Minor. I think it's the actual denomination for all the former Soviet republics that end with Stan. He is from Uzbekistan,
there you go.
like just like Valentina, who was born in Kyrgyzstan. Um,
That area. What is it about that area that creates assassins?
well, it's rough natural conditions. Yeah, it's an area in which not a very fertile land, a land with lots of mountains, very arid, not a lot of rain. It's definitely not Puerto Rico, I'll tell you that much. So harsh conditions, make for harsh people, and we see that in mixed martial arts every other day, don't we? Georgia,
Yeah.
from the Caucasus from the Caucasus to China, there is a swath of land there with multiple countries in which tough MFs come out of, and Ragmanos is an excellent example of just that. Get it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's this guy. This guy is great. He has great wrestling, of course.
Mhm.
Even without it goes without mentioning
Course.
it, but we have to mention it. Orthodox fighter, Jeff Neal. He's a southpaw. Rachmanov, of course, has more reach.
Yep.
Striking, Rachmanov's striking is not that impressive. But where he shines is in the takedown average. We're talking about Jeff Neal has to expect to be taken down at least once every round.
Yep.
He has good takedown defense at 85%, but
Mhm.
the takedown accuracy of Shavkat is 50%, and submission average is 1.7 for every 15 minutes. So he's gonna put Jeff Neal in dangerous places. He's beat Harris, Magny, Praceres, and Oliveira. Cowboy, of course, not Charlie. And Jeff Neal has had some great wins. He beat Ponzi and Luque. Those are big fights, but he lost to Magny, lost to Wonderboy Thompson.
That's
Some
mhm, mhm.
it's
That's
just
that
levels, Ale. It's levels.
literally this one. Yeah, this one is to me even clearer than Valentina against Alexa. I don't know in what scenario Geoff Neal pulls the win against Rachmanov. If you take the Neil Magny fight as a reference, man, the Uzbekistani took freaking Magny in the ground. I think the second midsection kick that he threw, he got a hold of Magny's leg, brought him down, and then just dominated him on the floor, on the ground. Yeah, this guy is a menace. This guy is scary, and I honestly don't see how Geoff Neal can counterattack such a skillful wrestler. And let's not forget that he also has that extra spice that people from the Far East Russian former republics have, which is he's a master of sports in sambo. Yeah, and when they have that wrestling, when they have that sambo that translates for vicious ground and pound and domination on the ground, there is not a lot you can do against those guys. Is Geoff Neal stronger than him? I don't think so. Does he have better striking? Maybe, but is it gonna get him in trouble? This guy is so level-headed. This guy is so cold in the fighting. He is
Yeah.
a smooth operator, so to speak. And
Yeah. Zero feelings. He has zero feelings in the
That's right.
fights. It's just a killer.
Yep, he's a straight cold killer. So, what are the chances that Geoff Neal? I mean, I don't know. He could catch him in an exchange and maybe rock him and put him in and get him in trouble. But if anything goes as what the previous fights and their level of skill tells us, I think it's a pretty tough night for Geoff Neal on Saturday. Yeah, I am going with Rachmanov on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. This is going to be an interesting fight. Rachmanov gets his next big marquee victory, and I think Geoff Neal. This doesn't reduce his stock, but this sets up Rachmanov for bigger fights in the top 10, maybe in the top 5. I don't know where Geoff Neal is in the
Geoff Neal is number
rankings.
7. He's ranked 7. So
So
this is
this
important.
this
Actually, this is a key fight for Rachmanov, whereas Neal just has to defend status. Rachmanov is up and coming. Rachmanov is fought fighters that I believe except for Neil Magny, none of them are ranked, right? So the first ranked fighter he ever fought was Neil Magny, and he put that performance against him. So this is another stepping stone, entering the top 10 opponents. And if he wins, if he does what he looks like is gonna do, which is a convincing victory against Neil, I think we have contender material here, Jared. Because above him, you have Wonder Boy, Gilbert Burns, Belal Muhammad, Hamzat Chimaev, Dagestani, also from
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, almost from Far East, from the Far East Russian area, and then Colby, Kamaru, and Leon. So I think if he wins, he says, he gives his big welcome, his big hello, I'm here, so to speak, statement in the division, and he's on to bigger and better. So we'll see what happens, but I think Rachmanov is gonna be the next big thing in the division. Of course, your JDM permitting, because he entered the rank after the victory of the other day. He's now number 14 in the rank. So, but GDM permitting, Rachmanov could be the next big contender, the next big thing, the next great contender in the division, and also a little bit of fresh blood as well, because we have there still Wonderboy Thompson, who's been in the game for I don't know how long. You'll tell me, Jared, because he's almost he's kind of like
he wants to have fun fights. I think he wants to have fun banger fights.
Gilbert
if
Burns,
you put him against Rachmanov, Gilbert Burns too, Masvidal.
But Masvidal is on the way out, I think. I mean, like, remember, next UFC numbered event, he's facing in Miami Durinho. So
Gilbert, and we'll see what he has left.
And I don't know how that's gonna work out. Masvidal, does not forget, while Durinho has been testing himself against bigger and better, mainly in the name of Chimaev, Masvidal has been like traveling around selling. I don't know. I think he has a mezcal brand. He has his promotion. He's been doing well, but he hasn't been maybe fully, totally focused on the training. I mean, he's one of my favorite fighters, and I'm always rooting for him. He is definitely someone I would pay money to watch, but we'll see what happens. Well, we have all these killers like Rachmanov coming up the ranks, so we'll see what happens. Also, Rachmanov, because of the inactivity of Jorge Masvidal, Rachmanov is above him in the ranks. Jared. Jorge Masvidal is number 11 right now, and Rachmanov is number 9. I don't know why there is no number 10 here in the ranks. Maybe it might be a typo here on the UFC website. But all in all, I think Rachmanov is gonna win on Saturday.
All righty. So there you have it, everybody. Those are the most important fights.
But Jared, yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
It's just
we're dynamic.
We're dynamic. We're still finding our footing, right? Because it's just so people know, whomever sees this in the future, we've been doing this lives. He's
Jacob Wendell has been watching John's fights. He's just incredible. I think he's gonna put on a show. And Ghana will be great. Yeah. I think we'll see John Jones, an exciting John Jones again in a new environment, an exciting John Jones that wants to prove to the world, hey,
that's right.
I'm in an exciting new weight class. My body's completely different, and people have been counting me out. And mentally, this is something that people haven't made the connection, or I think if they made the connection, I haven't seen it written down anywhere.
Okay.
The fact that John Jones is saying that he has buried what he had against DC, it shows that mentally,
the beef
John Jones is the beef that he had. Yeah, that's the right word. The beef. The beef. He buried the beef that he had with DC. And that he hopes that DC is able to interview him, and that DC is able to be, that he loves what he does. So I think that that shows us, hey, John Jones is in a different place mentally. He was able to forget DC. There's no beef. Has he been doing work with a performance psychologist? Has he been doing the steps? I think so. I think so. Call me crazy. But I think he's been doing the work, and I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Well, I guess so. I guess so. The truth is
Yeah,
that I think he needed. I mean, we all know he needed a challenge. We all saw those last two fights against the second Gustafsson, I believe, and Dominic Reyes. I
yeah,
believe that
yep.
those were his last two fights in which we saw him a little off. We saw him conceding too much, not being that cold, premeditated killer he used to be. And right now, he has a brand new challenge. He also needs to solidify his position as the GOAT. We've heard, which by the way, it's also on the countdown. They
Hmm.
build in that countdown, yeah, they build him up to as the GOAT, as the return of the greatest, as the return of
Yeah,
almost,
rightfully
almost,
so.
almost the the Black Jesus Christ. To be honest, that
Yeah,
they paint
yeah,
him as
100%. I am
in
agreeing with
that
that.
countdown. And I think some of that is also playing a role in his inner, in his inner self, if you will. And he's got that to show. He's got to show, and I think he's ready and he's willing to end the debate of who's the GOAT. There are many people who think GSP, many people think Khabib, and of course,
No, John Jones,
a
100%.
bunch of people think John Jones. So he wants to kind of like make a statement and say, if you got any doubts, here I am to show you. Double champ, a division above, John Jones, GOAT. There you have it in a silver platter. And he may just do that on Saturday. So we'll see.
We have Jacob here saying yes, that guy needs a challenge. That is the way he's
Oh,
configured. This is like a crusade for him to
ooh,
return. I like that. I like that storyline. I like, hey, this is your new mission. Get scared, train hard, come back, and be a factor in the sport again, because he was at the top of the game. We quickly forget he's been out for years, but he
uh-huh.
was at the top of at the top of the heap. He was the main character in the video game for a long time.
Yeah.
He had
First,
everything that he wanted,
fir-
everything.
first athlete in the MMA world ever sponsored by Nike. First athlete ever sponsored by Gatorade. I think he had like the Gatorade thing
Hmm.
on his calzon, on
Yeah,
his shorts. So
yeah,
yeah, he was a groundbreaking fighter, right? I mean, I was a casual back then, so I didn't know as much. So, but you can tell the audience that
yeah, yeah.
he
You could
was
tell he was
definitely
special. I remember
special.
seeing his fight, coming back from the hospital, from the residency,
Oh,
and sitting down and seeing the fights. I think it was Spike TV at that moment, and seeing him fight Stephan Bonner. Rest in peace, Stephan Bonner. You know,
yeah,
recently
damn,
passed away, gone but
yep,
not forgotten. But I
yep.
remember seeing John Jones catch Bonner's kick and
Leg.
spin with the elbow, and I was like,
Yeah,
"This,
who does
what
that?
the hell? What the hell? This is
Yeah.
crazy." So he was doing spinning moves and just being completely dominant, and really like in a dynamic way, and being great on the microphone as
an,
well.
an
So
innovator, right?
it's
Jared? An
yeah,
innovator as a
yeah.
martial artist. People, what it is said, and I've been watching his fight. I haven't finished his entire
Fight library.
fight library. I'm like halfway there by Saturday. Hopefully, I'm done. By the way, I said Dominic Reyes and Gustafsson. It was Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos. That's the other one where he sent off and he potentially conceded 1-2 rounds. But yeah, you can tell also how he's something different, and also Jared, his
Yeah, and that
ability to
OSP
improve.
fight, too, it wasn't the best. When he came back from his first layover,
Yeah,
I don't know
from
if you've seen the
the
OV
second Cormier.
Sampu.
No, I,
Yeah,
I ended I ended at the second Cormier. So
you need to see that OSP fight, because that OSP fight is ass. It's
mm,
awful.
mm.
And it was he was psychologically up. There was still something wrong. So, and that could be the case right now. We could be talking all this stuff, and that could be the case, and he
What
could
I'm
come
saying.
back and just look
Y-
horrible. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that,
Unlikely,
like
unlikely.
Jacob is saying here, I think that
John Jones.
this is a challenge, and Boney is going to rise to that challenge. So
Damn.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's just crazy to think there for a while. We didn't know legit if he was coming back, but this version of him mentally is like the John Jones we love. Yeah, I'm hoping 100% for the. I think so, because if that is the case, it's going to be something special, and then it's going to set the stage for the fight with Stipe Miocic, and I think that fight is going to be and Gano was going to be great, but Stipe Miocic, who everybody loves him,
Mm-hmm.
against John Jones, it's going to be a banger. It's going to be a
You
banger.
think?
And when you see a fighter like you, and we're talking about talent, and when you recognize the talent, it's the same thing I thought when I saw Ilia Topuria
Mm-hmm.
fight. I'm like, ooh, this guy controls range. It's different. It's different. Jack de la Madalena. Oh man, this guy's different. And I remember having that same feeling when John Jones was fighting. I'm like, oh, this
Mm,
guy is different. So when
there it
you have
is.
somebody on the stage on his first couple of fights, and they give you that feeling, and it's almost like the cage is their house, like they're
Mm.
outside of the water, sharks outside of the water, and when they open the cage, they're like, oh, this is my water, and they're moving around, stalking their prey and enjoying it. That's the case. So I think if we see that John Jones enter the cage, ooh, it's going to be special, and it's going to be a couple of years that the heavyweight division will be the best division of the UFC.
And there you have it. And I was gonna say, yeah, because you were kind of wrapping up. Just so everyone
Yep.
knows, we also do a live in Spanish right after this one
Yeah.
in the Doxus Spanish language channel here
Yep.
on YouTube as well. And he was wrapping it up, but I just wanted to say just a brief mention, because even though
Yeah.
we discussed the main fights, the perhaps most exciting fights of this card, let's not forget that there are also excellent fights right under. You have
Hmm.
Mateusz Gamrot is fighting Jalen Turner. That's an excellent
The
freaking fight.
tarantula. Yeah.
Yeah, the tarantula, bro. That guy strikes. Anything else, which is gonna be, Mateusz Gamrot is a very strong wrestler, also can bang. So it's an excellent matchup. We have the debut of another next big thing. Yeah, the UFC and the next big thing machine never ends. That
Ooh, I
level,
love that
that
phrase. The
level never
next
ends.
big thing machine.
Yeah, it is. It is. In which one? You probably know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the heralded as the next champion in the welterweight, Bo Nickel. He is making his debut in the middleweight. Sorry, he is making his debut in the UFC officially. He is smashed everyone in the Dana White Contender Series recently, and he is making his debut against Jamie Pickett, who it's like a really solid fighter that I mean, I don't know who's really like, I mean, I guess he has to accept the fight that they give him, but damn, they're giving him a tough match on
Yeah.
Saturday. We
Yeah.
have in the prelims also Cody Garbrandt returning. Who knows what Cody Garbrandt is gonna look like? He was once he was a very exciting fighter that seems to have gone through something physical, and now seems to have a glass chin. Whenever he's touched, he goes down like it's nobody's business against Trevin Jones from Guam. Speaking of something exotic, there you go, a Guamanese fighter. Then we have Derek Branson, another banger. Derek Branson against Dricus Duplessis. Very exciting fight, a banger indeed. Viviana Araujo against Amanda Rivas. We have also Ian Machado Gary fighting in the early prelim. It's an awesome fight. That Irish fella got a lot going on, and I think he could be in a matter of 1 year, 2, 3, 4 fights, he could be a solid contender. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful card. We have Esteban Ribovic from Argentina, debuting. He trains at Sanford MMA, I believe I saw on his Instagram somewhere. Now Kill Cliff. How is it? Kill Cliff FC. Now they changed the name, they changed the sponsor, whatever. But he trains here in the US, so he is probably gonna put a good show on the canvas. So very, very, very solid 205, 285. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope everyone is. And I hope we see upsets, we see exciting fights, and we see an awesome spectacle on Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be an awesome card. I think it's the first one of 2023 to be stacked this way.
Oh yeah,
So it's gonna be phenomenal. We want to let everybody know that seeing the broadcast again for a second time, or the people that are here live, we're gonna expand these live streams. Of course, in the channel, I've always done medical breakdowns, but we started doing on Tuesday streams. So on Tuesdays, we're gonna be here at 7 p.m.
right.
Eastern talking about fights. So if you loved it, subscribe. Be here. We always put the comments. Thank you, Jacob, for participating today.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're new to the channel, but thank you for participating. So we'll do this every Tuesday, and we're gonna hopefully grow the fan base. I'm a ringside physician. I've worked for 10 years in the MMA industry at the level of amateur and now professional. This Friday I start in the pro circuit. So
Oh snap! Boom.
yeah, I'll bring that to the table and let's talk about it. Here, Jacob said Dana White announced William Knight will be fighting an armchair pillow to regain his UFC. Okay.
Damn. Jared, por favor, Jared. This William Knight
Jacob.
fight, that fight, that was something I've never seen. Like I've never seen on a freaking I was gonna in any a stage fighting stage ever. What the fight that guy did the other day? Have you heard about it? Do you have the chance to watch it yet?
No,
the fight?
not yeah.
Okay, this guy you gotta watch it from the UFC fight night 2 fight nights ago. The guy threw in in the entire fight 8 strikes. Like he was
What?
fighting some Polish fella. I don't remember the name of the Polish guy who destroyed his lead leg with low kicks and his torso with mid kicks. The guy was just standing there. He wouldn't throw any punches. It was so bad, Jared, that a week later the UFC released him, even though he had fought only twice in the promotion. It was really, really, really weird to see. Not even bad. It was just weird because this William Knight, guys, you gotta see him. He's built like a tank. Jared. He is a buffed, muscular heavyweight, like 5'11" and 250 pounds. We're talking pure muscle that looks like this is the kind of guy you would never want to find yourself arguing against. And the guy wouldn't throw anything. It's just I mean it was something out of this world. It was all over the media how poor of a performance he put. He like people were being real mean to him on Twitter and in Instagram. I was
being Twitter.
it. And but anyway, we digress, guys. We gotta go to our Spanish live in less than a minute because we wanna be punctual. So, Jared, anything else before we go?
Peace. Thank you for being here. Subscribe if you like the content. I'll be here. We'll be here again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. to discuss the following fights and look for breakdowns in the channel. I have a ton of videos in the channel talking about a sports injury from the point of view of a doctor. So thank you for your attention, and thank you, Jacob, for being a new fan here to the channel. Peace out, homies. Dr. Vasquez and Ale out.
Yes, sir.